I'm Avery. So happy you all are here. This is week 2 of this 6-week queer trans Iyengar yoga series, which I've been dreaming of doing for so long. It's so sweet, like nectar, to bring these worlds together for me, Iyengar yoga and queer trans community. So very warm welcome to everyone here and anyone who might be using the recording. We're going to start today sitting. It's forward bends week, folding forward, right? That can be a challenge if you have tight hamstrings. So we'll be bringing a lot of opening to the back body today. This is great work to do if you have stiffness in your low back, if you've been sitting a lot. When we sit, we basically put the hamstring, the back of our thigh, into a shortened position. And then you could think of like holding it in that pose for a long time, right? If you're sitting for hours. So then the hamstring can get short. And then if the hamstring, I'll just stand up so you can see, if this back thigh gets tight, what happens is the pelvis pulls down. We end up habituating, kind of getting stuck a little bit in this tucked under mode all the time because the hamstring tightness is sort of pulling the sitting bone down into that tucked position, which then compresses the inner body. We lose the curve in our lower back. The discs get compressed. We don't have so much lift and length. And so this back body opening is really excellent in our journey of decompression, of bringing more space and freedom to the body, and therefore also, of course, to our psyche, our emotions, all the subtler layers of our being. So that's what we'll be doing today, exploring the back body opening. You can start sitting, sit tall. I'm sitting on a couple of blankets, but you could sit on a block, some couch cushions, whatever you have around. We'll just sit in a cross-legged position. We'll take a few minutes to arrive. You can broaden the flesh of the buttocks, sit tall. Hook your thumbs under the armpits for a moment and lift up. Lift the side ribs, lift your chest, roll the shoulders back. As if to reveal the inner light in the chest. Keep that lift as you close your eyes, relax your hands. And now transition your awareness into your body. Notice what is there for you. It's a new moon in Aquarius today. There's lots happening in the stars. Maybe there's a lot of emotions for you this week. Maybe there's a density to a sense of feeling. As you arrive into your body, just acknowledge what is there for you and welcome it. Have a sense of welcoming all the layers of you into this practice, into this moment, into this space we're sharing with each other across physical space and time, connecting to this beloved community. Have a sense that as you arrive, you're arriving into the support of everyone gathered here now. Feel down into the earth. Sensing that support as well, the support of the land upholding you. You can join your hands in front of your heart. And from a tender-hearted place, send some gratitude to the land as you acknowledge the history of this place As you recognize that your story, your life is woven into the story of this place. Your healing is interwoven into the healing of this place. We honor the past, present, and future indigenous people of this place in Albuquerque or on unceded Tiwa land. May we awaken to understand our interconnectivity. May we lean into the reciprocity May you be happy. May all beings be happy. May we all know real peace. We'll just offer 3 rounds of Om today together with this intention. Exhale slowly, inhale deeply. Bow to your heart. Release your hands, lift the head, gently open your eyes. Just stretch out the legs wide. Come to Upavishra Konasana. So you can stay sitting up on your height, especially if the hips are a little tight. You could remove the height now. Up to you and your legs, your hip joints. As you stretch out wide through the legs, press the center thigh down. So it's easier to feel the knees pressing down, right? It's trickier to get the center thigh. And in fact, what we really want to get are the top thighs. So now press your hands down into the top thigh. Have a sense of the thigh bones pressing through the hamstring. And now broaden the flesh of the buttocks. Pull your upper thigh flesh out to the side. So you really feel this wide space between your buttocks bones. Push down through your fingers. Pull the sacrum into the body. Lift your chest. Turn the arms, reach up, then extend up. Get taller as you press the thighs down, reach up through the inner body. Good. Take your left hand down, simple side body opening. Just reach, stretch through the side ribs, extend as you turn and elongate, get longer through the inner body. Come back up. Hello, body. How are you feeling today? Turn the rib cage, extend as you press the thighs down, especially your left one. Extend out of that root. Press down through the left thigh as you turn and reach, open the left side. And come up. Bring your knees in. Fold the legs. Just bring the hands down and come back to downward facing dog pose. Spread the toes wide. Push the hands away. Extend the side ribs away from the shoulders. Spread the toes wide. Press the center thigh bones back. I'm just going to come see how this is going for you all. Good. Many of you could walk the hands forward, stretch forward a little, take a longer pose. And this will make it easier for you to lift the buttocks bones. Now bend the knees. Can you spin the sitting bones up even higher? Can you broaden the buttocks bones? Push from the front hands back to the sitting bones. And now keep the sitting bones lifting way up. Press the thighs back once again. Extend maximum. And step forward. Bring the feet as wide as your mat. Just fold into Uttanasana. Let your head hang. And stand up. Okay. So we're going to do a little movement now. If you're on a really hard surface, you might want to put a blanket down. We're going to be rolling back and forth. And because especially it's the beginning of the practice, the body might be stiff. So make this movement loose and fluid. Don't try to come up into your biggest, deepest pose necessarily. We're going to work with movement now and find out how you can move some fluid through the spine. So you'll kick overhead, you're rolling up into Halasana, and then the feet come forward, Paschimottanasana. Now what happens if you're very tight here? Maybe before you even come forward, the back is rounding. If that's true for you, go for a cross-legged position. Then you can come forward a little. You'll roll back, and then you'll switch legs. So this is an option if you're on the tight side. However, if you can extend the legs, then visit Paschimottanasana. So go about 10 times, back and forth, rolling, moving. You can move fast or slow. Soft eyes, soft jaw. Can you find some freedom now, moving, rolling, freeing up the spine? Very good. Now, as you kick back on the next one, you're going to, instead of coming to your forward fold on the floor, see if you can land on your feet and just come up again to Uttanasana. Wide leg forward fold, and we'll rest here. Now, in this Uttanasana, come a little closer so you can see. If you can straighten the legs, go for it. Keep the outer hips right above the heels, don't hang behind. Straighten the legs and then release down. This is a good way of working if your spine can come down below the sacrum. Here, come on up for a moment. I just want to make a point on this because some teachers are like, bend the knees, always bend the knees in that pose. And others say, always straighten the legs. Like, why these rules? Here's how you can tell which will be better for you. If when you're standing and coming into Uttanasana, which is a common yoga pose, right? This forward fold from standing. So if you come down and you're able to lift the sitting bones so that the sacrum, which is the base of the spine, the back of your pelvis, if the sacrum can tip into this position where the top sacrum is lower than the bottom sacrum, then good idea to release down and keep the legs straight. The lumbar spine, the lower back is below the sacrum. Then it's going to traction and release. However, if you come forward and the spine is above the sacrum, right? See how my spine is rounding now? The top sacrum is higher than the lower sacrum. So here's the sacrum, just to be clear, it's like a triangle at the base of your spine. So if you come forward and the top sacrum is higher than the bottom sacrum, then it will be better for you to bend the knees so that you can bring the spine down below the sacrum and get the length in your low back that we're seeking. So better to be here than to be here. However, if you can straighten the legs, do, because that will create more stability in the joints, more elongation in the spine. So hopefully this gives you a clue how to work that will be beneficial for your body. So all of this is subjective, right? There's no one way that's good for each body because we all have different bodies. So let's come up, stand, come to Uttanasana. Let's come to this pose. Spread the toes wide, hold the heel bones back. Lift your chest, and now rotate the pelvis forward. Rotate the pelvis forward. You could come down to the floor, a block, or a chair. Come to this concave spine mode. Reach your chest forward. Rotate the buttocks bones up. Can you bring the top of your sacrum into the body, down lower than the bottom sacrum? Tailbone reaches way up, top sacrum comes down. From there, determine if you're going to bend the knees or not. Press the thighs back. If the legs are straight, keep the knee joints firm. Now fold and reach the side ribs down. Just catch the elbows and hang. Uttanasana. Exhale, soften the jaw, your eyes. And bring the hands to your hips, reach forward and stand up. Okay. Let's come now to another forward fold. This is a wide leg pose called Prasarita Padottanasana. Stand in the middle of your mat with your mat wide. It's similar to the last one, but now the legs will be wide. Step or jump the feet apart. Stamp down the outer heels as you lift the chest. Reach out through the core of the arms. Broaden. Broaden wide out through your arms. Keep the chest wide as you place the hands on your hips. Stamp down the outer heels. Pull the kneecaps up. And now rotate forward. Reach your chest forward. Bring your hands down to the floor. Again, can you pull the top sacrum into the body? Concave spine, like a back bend. Reach the chest forward. Now, straight, strong legs. Press down the outer heels. And now bring the body down. Top of the head towards the floor. If it doesn't go, just let the head hang. Dive in to this forward fold. Good. Push through the hands then and come back to concave. Now we're going to walk the hands forward. I'll show you from the side. So from that concave spine mode, walk your hands forward, forward. The arms and spine will resemble downward dog. Go for maximum length. Press the thigh bones back. Reach the fingers forward. Good. And from there, walk your hands over to the left. Stretch forward through the right fingers as you roll the outer right hip back. Push through your left hand. Extend the right side body. Come back to center. Let's do it on the other side. Walk the hands over. Stretch and extend from the fingertips all the way to your left buttocks bone. Open the right side. Maximum. And come back to center. One more time, walk the hands forward. Press the center thighs back. And then hands down. Reach forward. Press down with the heels. Up you come. Step or jump the feet together. All right. Nice. So let's play with this a little bit more. This freedom for the sitting bone from the tightness of the hamstrings. I think it will be nice to have a chair. And in addition to the chair, a roll of blanket. So if you have a towel would work. You could maybe have a yoga blanket, roll the blanket into a little roll. We may have even done this last week. I like this one because it's quite deep of an action and yet at the same time very accessible. There's a lot of range, ways you can work. And in addition to being a nice big opening for the back of the leg, it's very stabilizing, which means I'm bringing the femur deep into the hip socket. I'm building stability in the pelvis, which ultimately helps with not only decompression, right, sort of the organization and freedom of functional anatomy, but also stability in the hips really helps us feel more grounded and emotionally stable. So let's explore this together. Bring the arch of your foot, right foot up onto the roll, toes up, heel on the ground. Just fold forward to your chair. Take a big step back. This is a pose called Parshvottanasana. We're going to stay in the concave spine. Angle the back heel down. Press the back heel down. And now reach the chest forward with the right knee a little bit bent. See how you can spin the buttocks bones up and back towards the wall behind you. Keep that sense of the pelvis rotating forward as you straighten the right leg. Now, if hamstrings are tight, you might need to come up higher. You could have blocks on your chair. You could be on a table or a windowsill. Use whatever you need so that you really can straighten both legs. Pull the right kneecap up, draw the outer hip back, reach the chest forward. Now, if possible, if you have more room to go, come down onto the elbows, elbows on the chair. And then just release that. Straighten, step forward. Let's come back to a chair, downward dog. Walk your feet back, hands forward. Stretch through the spine, side ribs. Press the thigh bones back. And come forward, other side. Now elevate the arch of your left foot up on the blanket. Big step back, you're in a high lunge. Angle the right heel down. Elongate the pubic bone and sternum away from each other. Where are those? Here's the pubic bone, front of the pelvis. Here's the sternum. Reach those points away from each other. And keep that length as you straighten the left leg all the way. Draw the kneecap up, pull the left sitting bone back. This might feel like quite an intense stretch, or it may feel like no stretch. But find the organization of the bones. Be interested in that for now. Press the heel, pull the femur back in the socket, reach the chest forward. And then keep the front spine long as possible. Maybe you bring your elbows down. We're still staying in that concave spine mode. Good. And release. Just step back, downward dog on your chair. And step forward. Okay, so let's evolve this a little. And if that was really an intense stretch for you, you can stay with this setup. If you want to take it a little deeper, you could get rid of the chair. Maybe you have blocks instead. Let me quickly show you what we're going to do now. We're going to come into the pose in the same way, but this time I'm going to come forward with my arms and spine. So instead of staying here in the concave spine, I'm going to lengthen my body forward and bring my hands forward. If possible, forehead to the shin. So now I'm letting the back lengthen. I'm coming into flexion, in other words. But I'm keeping that lumbar spine lower than the sacrum. So if this is your pose, then better to stay up on some height, right? So that you can get the spine lower than the sacrum, okay? And from there, once we're done with that, we'll step back, downward dog, okay? So it's a whole little journey, Parsvottanasana into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's do it. You can start with your rolled blanket in front, elevate the front foot, heel on the floor. Why are we doing this with the blanket? Not only is this going to really stretch and free up the lower leg, the Achilles tendon area, etc., but it's going to amplify the stability, the femur into the hip socket. Bend your knees if you need. Come down to the chair, to a block, to the floor. Big step back with your left leg. Angle the outer left heel down and back. And now pull the right sitting bone back, straighten the leg. Pull your kneecap up, reach the chest forward. Strong legs, soft inner body. Now reach the chest forward, walk the fingers forward, come down with the head. Exhale, soften your jaw, soften your eyes. Dive down. Make your offering here. And then bend the knee. Come up on the back toes, hands down, step back. Downward facing dog pose. On the floor this time. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Push from the front palms to the sitting bones. Maybe your right back leg can spread a little easier. Like you could stand on the back of your right heel a little more. Good. Step forward. Fold Uttanasana. And hands to your hips. Reach forward and come up. Let's do that on the other side. I'll start off with you, but then I'm going to come and see how this is going for you. So, thanks to those of you with your cameras on. Bring your heel to the floor, toes up on the rolled blanket. And then bend the knees so you can come down, step back, big high lunge, angle the back heel down. And now take whatever height you need so you can really straighten your left leg. Be with that full extension. Open the back of your thigh. Pull the sitting bone back. Reach the chest forward. Keep the legs firm then. Now, where do you go? You could push the chair forward, walk the blocks forward, hands on the floor. Elongate forward and let the head dive down. Soften the jaw. Dive in for one more exhalation. Oh, very good. And then reach the chest forward, bend the knee. Come back, downward facing dog pose. Rest in downward facing dog pose. Good. Bend the knees, come down to rest in child's pose, Adho Mukha Virasana. So you can just pull the hips back towards your heels, stretch the hands forward, and come down. So we've done this strong, stabilizing work. See how easily you can come forward. Of course, you can take height if you have it. And if this pose does not work for you, then of course, pick something else, right? I want to share Sutra 248. Now that we've done some things to get into the body, I want to share this sutra from the second pada where Patanjali is talking about asana. This sutra says, tataha, dvandvaha, anabhigataha. From then on, after stability is gained in asana, from then on, the sadhaka, the practitioner, is undisturbed by dualities. And so this is an exciting sutra for me because I'm interested in moving beyond binaries, which I think is another way of thinking of dualities. Like, what are these ways that we experience ourselves and the world where it's like this or that? And how do we move beyond that? Patanjali says, from then on, once we have basically achieved effortless effort in asana, we've moved through the body, this is in the previous sutra, and the infinite being within is reached. When that happens, we're no longer disturbed by dualities. Iyengar says the effect of asana is to put an end to the dualities or the differentiation between the body and mind and soul. None of the pairs of opposites can exist for the practitioner who is one with body, mind, and soul. Good. You can come up if you're done with your child's pose. Some of you have, that's great. So I want to introduce this concept now. So we've done some work to sort of get into the body. Now let's take this deep dive. How can we move beyond thinking of ourselves as this body or as this mind and those things as separate? How can we move beyond the dualities and into that deeper state of integration? Let's play with this in Supta Padangusthasana. Now, as you shift to come down on the ground, we're going to be laying down on the ground for this. If you have a belt, have it. You can have a scarf or just a belt from your closet if you don't have a yoga belt. Yoga belt is handy. We're going to do a couple of poses laying down on the ground. However, I invite you to have the same sense of extension and working deliberately with your legs as you did when we were standing, all right? So when you lay down, sometimes it's easy for the legs to want to go offline, they go to sleep. But we want to keep that sense of extension through the heels, femurs back in the sockets, even though now we're not bearing weight. So here's the plan. You're gonna come up. We're going to take a circular action across and then out to the side. In fact, I'm gonna switch my demo. Just watch. So I'm gonna demo this leg to you so you can see I'm circularly bringing the leg around and out to the side. That's phase one. Phase two, I'm going to take a belt around the arch. And if you have a loop in your yoga belt, kind of nice, you can take both sides of the belt around and then you have these handles. You could even put your wrist through there, right? And give your wrist a little traction. So that's the legs. From there, we'll come up to Supta Padangusthasana. Really straight, strong legs. Similar to what we're just doing, press the thigh bone through the hamstring. Now, if your hamstrings are tight, of course, you could do the pose this way. That's fine, but go for this straight, strong leg, neutral spine. From there, we're going to bend, and then we'll go into a deeper stretch. So at first, I'm working with bones, stability. Then I'm going into muscles releasing, more flexibility. Then you'll keep the leg there, re-extend, and release. All right? Now, if you're on the tight side, if this is where you go, even when you bend the knee in, you might not go that much farther. Your pose might not look dramatically different. That's fine. You're just exploring, where can you bring the bones into organization? Where can you bring some freedom to the soft tissues? Working with all of that as a way to permeate the awareness in to that essence beyond body and mind, to move in beyond duality, beyond any binaries. So stretch out through the legs, move the buttocks down, extend through the heel bones. Find this Tadasana, laying on the ground. Keep the left leg strong, draw the right knee up, and then as you pull the knee in, can you maintain pressing the left thigh down? So don't let the left thigh puff up. If that happens, probably the pelvis has tucked under, which you remember at the beginning of class, it's that same story, right? If the pelvis is tucked under, the lower back will get compressed. So explore, can you keep deflating the left thigh? Back thigh maybe can even touch the floor. Keep that. Now bring the right knee across, around and out to the side, and then back in and just explore. My right arm is the doer. My hip joint is the receiver. Just moving through the circular action around, out to the side and back in. Great. From here, let's come up to our Supta, which means laying down. Padangusthasana, hand big toe pose. So now stretch up through the right leg, spread behind the knees, spread behind the thigh, press the thigh bone, the femur, through the hamstring. And now pull with the belt to really anchor your right thigh bone deep into the socket. Inviting physical stability, inviting emotional stability. Bend the left leg then. Pull with the belt. Any amount, bring the leg overhead. So now you're letting the lower back flatten. Let the pelvis tuck. See what happens. You're not weight bearing in the lumbar. It's fine. See what happens. Pull the foot overhead. Push the thigh bone away from you. Press the right thigh away from your belly. Now, keep the right leg where it is. Internally rotate the left leg. Pick up your foot. Reach the left heel back out across the room. Stretch the heels away from each other in this final stage. Can you breathe through the sensations? And release. Stretch out the right leg all the way out and down. Let the legs spread out. And just rest here for a moment. Feel your right hip compared to the left. Is there a difference? Can you be in the body rather than caught up in the mind? Just feel what is there. There's no need to analyze it. Very good. Join the feet, extend out through the heels, bend the knee. Depending on your body, it might feel good to keep the knee more centered, or you might go out some to the side. Draw into this Ekapada Pavanmuktasana. And then as you're ready, you can start that movement in the leg. Cross the knee over and then come up and around and out to the side. Gentle movement, lubricating your hip joint. Up and around several times, feeling what is there for you today. What an amazing thing to have a hip joint, to have a body, to experience embodied consciousness. Once you've done that several times, same as the other side, you can take your belt around the arch, stretch up through the leg, straighten your left leg fully as you press the top of the right thigh down. So in this initial stage, you keep a little curve under your lower back. By the way, this is a fabulous pose if you have low back issues, if you sit a lot. This is a really good one to do. You don't even have to do it as part of a whole practice. You could just do this little sequence or this pose before bed or when you wake up or whenever it works out in your day. If you do it several times a week, this alone can really make a difference. Let's fold in the right leg. Press the left thigh bone away from you as you draw the leg over. Any amount. It will look different depending. I have really long hamstrings, so don't compare yourself to me. Find out in your own body what is possible. Draw the foot towards you any amount as you press the center thigh away. And now internally rotate the right leg. Reach through the right heel. Stretch the legs as you relax the tongue, the jaw. Can you be both alert and relaxed? And release. Stretch the left heel out and come all the way down. Ooh, very nice. Bend the knees, roll to the side. And now we're going to come to downward dog again. Of course, you could have hands on the chair again if that works best for you. But come up to some version of downward facing dog pose so you can compare. How does this downward dog feel different to the one we did earlier in class? As you press the thighs back, and of course, you can bend, you can lift the sitting bones with bent knees if that's easier for you. Better that than this, right? But as possible, press the thighs back. And explore how the whole back leg, and therefore the whole back body, can extend more. You stand on the heels. And walk the feet forward, fold again. Uttanasana, similarly, observe what is changing. How has this pose evolved from the beginning of class? Good. Bend the knees, release. Okay, so hopefully you can feel some difference. Something has changed, right? We're going to take some seated forward bends now. We're starting with Janu Shirshasana, head, knee pose. So sit up on a blanket or even a few blankets if you are tight in the hamstring or the hip. And then we're going to take this pose first actively, then we'll take a more supported one. So I'll show you this once. I'm going to stay sitting up on these blankets. Why? Because just like with those standing poses we were exploring, I really want the pelvis rolling forward, the sacrum drawing in to drive the action. If the pelvis is back here, then there's no way I can really move forward without compressing the front body. So how will we do it? Take a lot of height, especially under the sitting bones, and I'm going to pull the flesh of the buttocks out to the side so that I can sit tall and draw the sacrum in. And if that's tricky for you, you could even do this position sitting on a chair, right? Let's see how it goes. From there, you're going to draw one leg in. You'll roll the shin down. Then you'll reach up. You're going to turn the belly as if you could line up your belly button with the top thigh. And then you're going to come forward any amount. This is where you might want to have a chair in front of you, blocks for the hands. Maybe you'll reach forward, walk the fingers forward. Let me show from this direction. Right, and come down. So let's just do this pose in a simple way. See how it goes. This is not going to be a long held pose, so let's just jump in, and then we'll do something similar after this with a little more support. So sit in Dandasana, draw the flesh of the buttocks back, press down through the fingers, lift the chest, and now grab hold of your inner left leg and draw the knee back. You can take your thumb and smush the inner calf forward out of the way, and then just rest the shin down. If your knee is up in the air, then try adding more height under the pelvis so that the knee can go down. Now, keep your right leg straight and strong. Turn the arms, reach up, stretch up through the inner body like a back bend, long line, pubic bone, sternum. And now turn, spin the belly around so the belly button lines up now with the center of your thigh. Reach up, come forward, rotate the pelvis forward, lengthen the chest forward, and now reach forward maximum. Where can you go? Let the head come down. Exhale. And walk the hands back. Good, stretch out your leg. Let's do the other side. Pull the right leg back. Smush the inner calf out of the way so you can really turn and open the inner knee as you bring the shin down to the floor. Turn the belly to the left, reach up, make space for the organs, space for the spine, reach forward and come down. Let me see how this is going for you all. As you exhale, let the head come down. So yes, you come into flexion, but from big length in the spine. Good, and walk your hands back. Beautiful poses, everyone, and come up. Nice. So now you have a couple of options. You could repeat the same pose and take a little support so that we'll be here longer. So what might that look like? If I'm able to fold forward, I could have a chair. Some of you are already using a chair, which is great. If you're using a hard chair, you might want to take some support, right? Something like this. Maybe head on a block, arms on the chair. Maybe elbows on the blocks, head down. But take ideally some support so that you can rest your head on something. And we'll be here for a little bit of a longer hold. Now, if this pose is super challenging, you're just not able to come forward hardly at all, what I'm going to recommend is use the chair and just go for this position. Fold the legs in to Swastikasana, because right now I'm less concerned with getting some deep action in your hips. I really want you to be able to relax and become quiet inside. So this would be a good option for some of you if you, if that extended leg hamstring tightness is sort of getting in the way of your ability to come forward. So let's take it. Either cross-legged or Jana Shirshasana. You can roll the shin down. Have your left leg out to the side, right leg straight forward. Turn the belly, soften the belly, reach up. And now rotate the pelvis forward. Start with that huge inner body length. And then give even more length to the back body as you come down to whatever support you are using. As you inhale, let the back body spread and expand. As you exhale, release the head down. Be here for a few more breaths. Can you relax the temples, relax your eyes, allow the cells of the brain to release away from each other? And then after your next exhalation, walk back, the hands lift up and release. Good. Let's do the other side. So if you're doing the cross-legged position, just switch so the other shin is on top. Otherwise, draw the right knee back, extend the left leg forward. You can turn, reach, and then stretch forward onto your support. There's such a thing as too much support, and there's such a thing as not enough. So explore what is the right amount for you today, so that you can come into a quiet place here. If you can, support the head so the skin of the forehead draws down towards your eyes. Go for that. Let the head rest heavy as you allow the breath to expand in your back body. And then when you're done, Push through the hands, slowly come up. Now we're going to do one more pose before Shavasana. And this one is quite nice because we get to have the effect of a deep forward bend for the torso without the legs really being part of the equation. This is also a little twist. Hopefully we can get to some more twists maybe next week. But for now, we'll take this restorative twist. If you have a bolster, you can have the bolster to your right hip. If you don't have a bolster, stack up a few folded blankets, like so. That will work fine. If you just have one blanket, but you have blocks, you can also make a nice bolster with your blocks. You could put two blocks together, like so, kind of low blocks next to each other, and then roll them up. This is a nice way to make a bolster if you don't have one, but you have two blocks and a blanket. So you'll want to have some height like this over to the side. Just side sit with the bolster or your props to your right hip and bring your left ankle over the arch of the right foot. Reach up, stretch up. Take your left arm down and open the side ribs. Open the side lung to expand the breath into that zone. And now turn, come around and twist through the belly, through the chest. Lift the chest, majestic feeling of lift in the sternum. And now as you tuck the outer hip under, reach forward and just lay down. Lay down, rest your head to face the same direction as the knees, forearms on the floor. And just rest here. You can close your eyes. In this prone version of Bharvrajasana. As you inhale, now see if you can feel the breath expand in your back body. As if the back of your lungs could gently inflate. And then as you exhale, empty the mind, relax the brain, let the head rest very heavy, dissolving down into that support. This pose brings a lot of fresh circulation to the adrenal glands in the back body, very quieting for the nervous system. Of course, if you're uncomfortable, you can come out sooner. Otherwise, have one more full breath. And then slowly come up, and we will shift to the other side. You can just turn your body around. I'm going to bring my props around so I can mirror you. Have the bolster to your left hip. Again, start with this gentle lateral opening, which means the side body, right? What a wonderful window into elongating the spine. You can reach up. Because your left sitting bone will be down deeper, this emphasizes the length through the side body. Then come around, turn. You can use your hand even to help the belly turn, to move the organs around. Turn the diaphragm, the ribs. You can tuck the outer left hip under, and then adjust your props as needed so you can lay forward on that support. Forearms down. Let go the weight of your head and just be here for a minute or two, receiving the inhalations into the back body. And then a slow, soft, soothing exhalation. Can you allow the body to melt, to dissolve into gravity and into the earth? It's as though you trust the safe embrace of the earth a little more with every exhalation. Let the breath gradually bring you deeper inside yourself, beyond the surface mind. Beyond duality. You come home to yourself. And slowly come up. We're going right from here to Shavasana. And I have in mind, since we've really focused on all this forward bending and opening your back body today, you're going to take your same support, add a pillow to it, and we'll take this Salamba Shavasana, which means Shavasana with support. And the support is a bolster or stack of blankets, row blankets. Something long ways to go behind your back. So you can lengthen the tailbone buttocks down, lengthen yourself back onto the support, but the support is now really going to open the chest. It's a mild back bend, but it should be passive and comfortable enough that you can just completely relax here. You'll tuck the shoulder blades down, let the arms release. Beautiful decompression for the chest, the heart, after all this work, opening the west, the Paschima, the back body. So just lay back in your Shavasana. Make sure you have enough pillow under your neck and head so that the chin rests a little bit lower than your forehead. So the brain can release. Close your eyes, spread out. And now allow the whole body to soften. As if melting into that support. Soft, spacious breath flows in, the lungs absorb the delicious breath, life-giving breath, ancient breath. And then with every exhalation, allow those exhalations to bring you down deeper, a little deeper in towards your own center. Soft jaw, soft eyes. Let the brain release. With every breath, you gently come home. Come home to yourself. Any layers, any armor you've had to wear to be out in the world, to make it to this point. Explore allowing those layers to soften. You return to softness, fluidity, ease. Coming back into yourself and the wholeness that is already there. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Slowly returning to your breath. You can bend the knees one at a time, and from whatever support you are using, roll to the side to come out. Rest on the side for at least a full exhalation. So roll down from the support. Let yourself come into that side lying position and find the support of gravity. And then keeping the inner body soft, your face, jaw soft, lift up, come to sit. Take a moment of gratitude for this practice of yoga, and especially gratitude towards yourself for showing up for your practice today, for taking this journey, the inward journey of transformation, parinama, that reveals the way forward for external transformation. Thank you all so much. Deeply grateful for all of you. Thanks for trusting me and giving this a try. It means so much to have this community space and get to share this together. So thanks for being here. I will stick around if you have any questions, any feedback. If you just need to hop off and get on to the next thing, that's totally fine. But very real gratitude to each of you.